Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Ask ISO live stream, your chance to get answers directly from the experts behind the standards. I'm Noelia Garcia Nebra, the head of sustainability at ISO, and today we have the pleasure of having with us a very special guest, Catherine Chevauché, Circular Economy Director at Veolia, a global leader in water, waste, and energy management. Today marks a very exciting milestone as we launch the 3 new international standards on circular economy. And there is no better opportunity to learn about them than from Catherine, who has chaired the group responsible for their development. Before we dive into the questions that we have been collecting from the audience and the participants, let me introduce you properly our guest today. Since 2019, Catherine has led the group that developed the standards we are celebrating today. As Circular Economy Director at Veolia, she drives initiatives focused on innovative business models to facilitate the transition to a circular economy. Her work includes implementing local loops to reduce water withdrawals, optimizing resource reuse processes, recovering waste for soil compost, and generating renewable energy from wastewater management, among other initiatives. I'm thrilled to have Catherine with us today. As I mentioned over the last days, we have questions to dive in and explore how these new standards can shape our future. Feel free to in the chat as we go along, and let's get started. So, Catherine, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
To kick off, an easy question. What is circular economy?
Not an easy question. So circular economy is a system thinking economy to be able to recover, to maintain, to add to the value of resources, and while contributing to sustainable development. So the big issue is to avoid waste generation, reduce pollutions, and use minimum of virgin resources.
Excellent. We are launching today 3 new international standards of the 59,000 series, as we call them at ISO, related to circular economy. Can you give us an overview of what those standards are and why they are important for businesses and the communities?
Yes, so it's 3 standards to give us common understanding of what circular economy is. So the first one will provide you the definition of circular economy, for sure. Will provide you principles to be able to apply circular economy, and also actions. With which actions can you push circular economy within your organization? So it's a first standard. The second one is more dedicated to business and how to make the transition from a business model to a circular business model involving value networks. And the third standard dedicated to indicators to be able to measure your circularity performance.
Excellent. Based on your experience, what are some of the common challenges companies face when transitioning to a circular economy model?
We have very important challenges because up to now, our linear global economy is currently profitable. So it's not so easy to move from something is profitable for something else that we don't know exactly what it will be. But what we know is that if we stay like as it is right now, we are facing climate change, we are facing biodiversity losses, resource depletion, and so on. So we need to move. We need to integrate circular economy. That is something that it is an alternative way to do what we are doing, but and we have to demonstrate that this circular economy will be profitable also.
I imagine that if we look at developing countries and companies operating in developing countries, those challenges might be even bigger. What do you see differences?
Yeah, for sure. There are differences between developed countries, developing countries, but maybe not the differences that we can imagine at the first, in the first instance. What we know is that in our developed countries, we fulfilled globally our needs. But now we are over that. We want to fulfill our wants. And that is a problem. For developing countries, they have to fulfill their needs first. But they have to do that in an innovative way. That could be circular economy. And they do that already. But they do that because there are not so many things. But they can push us, developed countries, to think in another way. So developing countries can be a good inspiration for us.
And are these new international standards considering those needs of the developing countries?
Yes, sure. We are quite 100 countries around the table. And we have countries coming from all the world. From Africa, for sure, from South Asia, from South America. And it was the mindset of the Technical Committee on Circular Economy to involve developing countries and to let them participate and to have a strong place within the discussions.
Excellent. For how long have you been developing those three international standards?
We began the job in 2019 with the first kickoff in Paris. And then to the COVID crisis, we didn't meet physically. We did a lot of job virtually. And then we met physically in Kigali, Rwanda, to be able to go on with the job. But we took more or less 4 years to develop this standard because of the complexity of the topic.
Excellent. Good job. So we had made a poll to the participants, to the audience interested in our discussion today about the benefits of circular economy. Between reduced use of non-renewables, lower carbon emissions, more business opportunities, increased cost effectiveness. Responses have been quite shared, let's say, between these four elements. But in your opinion, based on your experiences, what are the benefits of circular economy?
The benefit of circular economy is all what you mentioned, for sure. But to me, is to integrate a better balance between our economic daily basis way of thinking, to be able to integrate environmental impact, environmental issues, and social issues. So we have to balance three dimensions to be able to change our behavior and our mindset to make the transition to a circular economy. So it's all of that. And it's also, we have to be able to reduce, avoid our waste generation, because it's really the main issue that we have.
I think this is pretty much in line with the answers we got. We got 657 answers to that poll. Thank you to all of you that took the time to respond. Yeah, as you said, very important, changing the mindset, right? To move and do this transition to a new way of doing things. While I wait for some questions from the audience. And as a follow-up, can you maybe give some examples of how different sectors can apply circular economy principles, such as the ones that our standards identify?
Yes. First of all, the standards have been drafted, have been elaborated for any kind of sectors, any kind of activities, whether it's private activities or public activities. It's really transversal standards. But however, you can integrate the principles and the actions that we have within these standards to check if you will implement that within your current businesses and to push new businesses and new mindset to be able to apply circular economy. For instance, if you are dealing with the buildings activities, you can think about how to better reuse the materials, how to better repair, how to better maintain your buildings, and to be able to biosource your inflows and so on, and not to still go on like we are doing. For the water management, it's to use the wastewater, the treated wastewater, and better use that for agriculture, for any kind of uses, but better reuse this kind of water. And for the materials or for the products, it's a new way to be able to remanufacture and so on, and not generate waste.
So important for all sectors. Our standards are applicable to all the sectors,
yes,
cross-country, transnational. But we see the importance of collaboration, right?
Yeah,
across
sure.
and within industries for the success of circular economies. Can you explain to us or share with us a little bit the importance of that collaboration, and maybe if you have any examples?
Yes, collaboration is really new. Is one of the 6 principles of circular economy, and collaboration is really something important for these standards because our current business models are competition. But now we have to find a way to be able to integrate more collaboration, to think partnerships, and to think this kind of symbiosis between industrials, between partnerships. So, for instance, we have to think to be able to close the loop, to narrow the loops, and to slow the loops. We have to be able to consider, for instance, the waste for one industry will become the raw material for another one, and to be able to share this kind of materials, to be able to better collaborate. And that's not an easy topic.
Excellent. And a question we get from the audience: how can international standards help harmonizing and help with this collaboration?
Yes, because these standards are first one give this common understanding of what circular economy is. So not only for a region, but for all the world. And because we have 100 countries around the table, we can say that it's really a great consensus on what circular economy is, and to give this view for all the people.
Excellent. And for the businesses that's starting today, that journey, what practical steps would you suggest they should take, and how can they use the new international standards for starting that journey?
Okay. First, they have to look into the standards for sure, to read the standards, to understand that, and to check the actions that we described within the standard, to check the actions, for instance, design for circularity, circular sourcing, maintenance and repair, refurbishment, and to apply that to their current businesses, and to say, okay, how can I change my way of making my procurement? How can I repair the products that I put on the market to make them more repairable, for instance? How I can think more of life of my product, of my services, to be able to close these loops. That's our kind of they can apply to themselves and to make the transition to a circular business model.
Excellent. I see we have another question from the audience. It's with ISO, is it possible to calculate a total performance score aggregating the KPIs, the key performance indicators?
No, it's not possible. Why? Because to be able to calculate your circularity performance, you need able you have to integrate different kind of KPIs. You have to think about your resource inflows, your resource outflows. You have to be able to think about the use of the water you are using, the energy, for only for environmental KPIs. So this is a multi-criteria KPIs, but you have also to be able to think about your impact and your impact on society, your impact on greenhouse gases emission, for instance, because if you implement circular business models, you have to reduce greenhouse gases emissions, you have to protect biodiversity, and so on. So it's not, it's different KPIs, multi-criteria approach, and not a single KPI to translate your circularity performance.
Excellent. 3 new standards launched today on circular economy. How do they complement each other? And businesses or any organization that is willing to implement them, should they consider them together? Can they be used separately?
The best of the best is to consider the 3 together.
Yeah.
But you can use them separately, depending your current understanding of circular economy and from where you start. The entry point could be the standard with the terminology and the actions, to be able to check if these actions you already do that or not, and to improve your current business model or your current way of doing your activity. Specifically for the business models, yes, you can use the dedicated standards on that. And if you want to focus really on KPIs or indicators, prefer the 3rd standard. But to me, it's good to have all together, to think all together, to have the global picture of circular economy.
Perfect. I think that's answering some of the questions I see coming in about where should companies start, how should they implement it. I see there is a lot of interest around that.
Yes, may I say to start the best way to check if the actions we described within the standard 59004, you already apply them or not. You will not apply all of them for sure, in my company too, but the first step to me would be this one, to check each actions and to say, okay, I am doing that, yes, no, how can I fulfill the gap or not.
Perfect. So the place to start is ISO 59004 and doing a self-assessment, basically, or where you are today.
Yes, to me, it's a good way to start.
Okay, perfectly. And the audience is also interested in knowing, are those standards for all kind of companies and industries, or are specific?
No, it's not specific. It's really a common understanding about circular economy. It has been elaborated not for specific activities, but for any kind of activities and any kind of organizations, public, private, NGOs also. Whatever you are doing, you can read that, integrate that, and check if your activities is fine.
Perfect. So no excuses. That's
no
available and implementable by all kind of organizations. There are some questions about the timeline for publication. You shared a little bit before about the time that this took to develop those standards.
Yes, 4 or 5 years to develop that, but that's understandable. Complex topic. You have to deal with your current economic system. Our current economic system is within a social system, within an environmental system. So it's a lot of different topics to manage all together. And we have to tackle climate change. We know that we have to tackle resource depletion. We know that we have to tackle water and so on to be able to answer the current challenges, but not only. Social challenges are also there. So not easy.
And what is in the pipeline?
Yes. Okay, so in
Next
the next steps, we have still 2 standards to publish. We're working on the standards on the product circularity data sheet to manage the data. Because if you are not able to be more transparent, if you are not able to provide data outside, we're not able to provide more product to be repaired and so on. So data management and a standards around the secondary materials, how to better trace and make them sustainable for the secondary materials. That is the current step. And my wish is also to be able to make an international survey to gather feedback from companies, organizations, whatever, about their practices regarding circular economy.
So very important standards to help with the collaboration.
And circular economy is a question of collaboration.
Indeed. I have another question from the audience. How to better articulate circularity in industries with waste hierarchy in mind?
Good question, very good question. We included in the standards hierarchy, but it's looked like a hierarchy to be able to say, okay, first step regarding the management of resources, it's refuse. So when you want to produce a new product or services, think about the benefit of this kind of product or services. But the first step is refuse regarding the guidance for resource management. So refuse, rethink also to be able to design in another way to generate less this kind of hierarchy, but it's not written like that, is really the energy recovery.
Excellent. I see more questions coming in. The nice to have principle, how to reconcile with current market dynamics, with competing forces.
Nice to have a principle. We have 6 principles within the current standards. There's no nice to have.
Okay,
it's all of them have to be have to be integrated. So I don't know if that answers the questions, but regarding the competitive forces, sure, it will not be easy to implement that because we are currently in a system that works. So why do we change? We change because we think, or I deeply think, I am convinced that if we do not change, we will not tackle the climate change, we will not tackle the resource depletion and so on. So we have to think in another way. It's a question of mindset, it's a question of behavior.
I guess creating the right incentives.
Yes, the right incentive and at different levels. It's us as consumers, but not only. It's a question of a regulation, strong regulation to push circular economy, and it's a question also for industries to implement circular economy and to change their business models and to think more at performance-based approaches, for instance, or sharing economy, something like that.
Yeah. You mentioned consumers.
Yes.
We're talking a lot about the companies and organizations, what should we doing, but what role for the consumers, and how can companies effectively communicate with consumers about their circular economy initiatives?
Consumers, they have a big position, a big role to play regarding circular economy, because at the end of the day, they buy or not your product. So you have to convince them that your product is a good one regarding the environmental challenges and social challenges also. So when we act as consumers, we have a power. So we have the power to decide what we want to buy or not. So, but we have to be aware for that. So it's a question of how the states and countries promote, aware people about that. And it's a question also coming from industries to be able to push clear and transparent informations around that to make
Just very relevant on what we are just talking, certification.
Yes.
Are these standards certifiable? Is the certification available?
No. That's clear. Not yet. It was very complex to get the consensus in 4 years on the current standards. So it's not the time of certification right now. But I would like to integrate the certification for the next round, may I say, when we will be able to revise the standards, to be able to integrate requirements, so that certification will be good. And also other topics that are very important is how to integrate small and medium businesses within the standards. So it's another question that we have to think about.
So part of the next
yes, yes, exactly.
Excellent. I want to take the opportunity to have you here to get to know you a bit better as well. So tell me, how did you get to circular economy?
It's a question of opportunities. It's a question of life and opportunities. I am a food engineer, but it's and then regarding I am deeply convinced that we have to change because the climate change affects me a lot. The resource depletion, the biodiversity, maybe the largest challenge is biodiversity losses. So to me, it was really important to have a job linked to that and to be able to bring my small input on that and to find a way to propose something to people. So that's why I'm doing this job, and it was a great job with ISO.
And what would you say to anyone watching us today, and if they're interested in joining ISO's work on circular economy, what would you suggest?
Yes, thanks to all the experts that already participate to the job. It's more than 200 people that currently participated to this job, and really, I am very proud of their job. But if you want to take part to this journey for the next round, just contact ISO or contact me, whatever, or contact your national standardization body, and you to be an expert, or to propose you as an expert to participate to the coming meetings.
Excellent. To conclude, what future trends do you foresee in the circular economy space, and what role you see for international standards that plan to help businesses?
First is this kind of steps, the promotion. We have to make people aware about the publication of these standards. We have to explain the text. And then we have to go on with the certification way. We have to go on with the small and medium business to be integrated in the job, as well as consumers, to be able to find a way to better integrate them. And it's the first step. Then buy the standards, read the standards, and try to apply what is in.
As we said before, the standards provide guidance to any organization, so no excuses.
Yes.
The tools to start the journey is now available. Thank you to you, Catherine, for sharing your invaluable insights on the new circular economy and your experience in that space. I honor talking to you today.
Thank you.
I thank you also to all of you who have joined us today for your participation, for sharing your questions. I hope you enjoyed this discussion. If you found this session helpful, please share it. Please like it with your network. Also connect with us through LinkedIn. And if you have more questions and want to know more about the International Standard Circular Economy, visit our website, www.iso.org, or as Catherine said, you can connect with your national standards body in your country. Have a great day, the rest of the day. Thank you, and goodbye.
Goodbye.